I turned it on. Hello. That was an accident. Hi, this is Lisa Lovestone. I'm just setting up. I'm going to read chapter 7 of The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And so today is, I don't know, I think today is November 19th. It's Wednesday, 2025. I am Lisa Lovestone. I am a Reiki master and an intuitive healer, intuitive oracle card reader, and I like to read books out loud to people. Okay, thanks for joining me. I have popcorn in my teeth. Okay, here we go. Chapter 7, The New Dream, Heaven on Earth. I want you to forget everything you have learned in your whole life. This is the beginning of a new understanding, a new dream. The dream you are living is your creation. It is your perception of reality that you can change at any time. You have the power to create hell, and you have the power to create heaven. Why not dream a different dream? Why not use your mind, your imagination, and your emotions to dream of a heaven? Just use your imagination and a tremendous thing will happen. Imagine that you have the ability to see the world with different eyes. You see the world around you in a different way. Close your eyes now and then open them and look outside. What you will see is love coming out of the trees, love coming out of the sky, love coming out of the light. You will perceive love from everything around you. This is the state of bliss. You perceive love directly from everything, including yourself and other humans. Even when humans are sad or angry, behind these feelings you can see that they are also sending love. So tomorrow, when I go outside to put my feet in the grass and give gratitude to the universe, I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to see the world in a different way, and I'm going to see love coming out of the trees. I already do. I already see love and care coming from the trees. Love coming out of the sky. Sometimes I do see that too. Love coming out of light. I do feel love coming from the light of the sun and the light of the moon. And sometimes when a star is twinkling in just a certain way, I feel like it's pulsating love to me. Love, sending love. So this will be pretty easy for me to do. But in this yard, I'm not going outside at night. I'll go outside in the daytime. Not because it's scary, but it's slightly rural and there might be like creepy crawly things that crawl on my bare feet. I'll do it in the day when I can see what's going on. Okay. So, using your imagination and your new eyes of perception, I want you to see yourself living a new life. A new dream, a life where you don't need to justify your existence and you are free to be who you really are. Imagine that you have permission to be happy and to really enjoy your life. Your life is free of conflict with yourself and with others. Imagine living your life without fear of expressing your dreams. You know what you want, what you don't want, and when you want it. You are free to change your life the way you really want to. You are not afraid to ask for what you need, to say yes or no to anything or anyone. Imagine living your life without the fear of being judged by others. I am not in fear of being judged. I can say that with authenticity and truth. I don't care what people think. You no longer rule your behavior according to what others may think about you. You're no longer responsible for anyone's opinion. You have no need to control anyone. No one controls you either. Imagine living your life without judging others. You can easily forgive others and let go of any judgments that you have. You don't have the need to be right, and you don't need to make anyone else wrong. You respect yourself and everyone else, and they respect you in return. Imagine, I'm thinking of that song Imagine by, well, it's not by the Beatles necessarily, but by, oh no, have I forgotten his name? The one that passed away? Lennon, John Lennon. Imagine living, so, I can't remember the words, but you know what I'm talking about. It's a famous song. Imagine. Anyway, I'm thinking of that song right now. Okay, so imagine that you love yourself just the way you are. You love your body just the way it is. And you love your emotions just the way they are. You know that you're perfect just the way you are. The reason I ask you to imagine these things is because they are all entirely possible. You can live in the state of grace, the state of bliss, the dream of heaven. But in order to experience this dream, you must first understand what it is. Only love has the ability to put you in that state of bliss. Being in bliss is like being in love. being in bliss is like being in love. Yeah, I agree. It is. It's like that. You're just happy and bubbly and being in love is like being in bliss. You're floating in the clouds. You are perceiving love wherever you go. It is entirely possible to live this way all the time. It is possible because others have done it and they are no different from you. They live in bliss because they have changed their agreements and are dreaming a different dream. Once you feel what it means to live in a state of bliss, you will love it. You will know that heaven on earth is truth. That heaven truly exists. Heaven is a state of mind. Once you know that heaven exists, once you know it is possible to stay there, it's up to you to make the effort to do it, to be there. 2,000 years ago, a man who we call Christ told us about the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of love, but hardly anyone was ready to hear about it. They said, "What are you talking about? My heart is empty. I don't feel the love that you're talking about. I don't feel the peace that you have. You don't have to do this. Just imagine that this message of love is possible and you will find that it is yours." The world is very beautiful and very wonderful. Life can be very easy when love is your way of life. You can be loving all the time. You know what I was doing when I was trying to because Bashar talks very much the same way about these very things. And so I would just try to imagine how deeply I loved my son when he was a baby, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. I loved him with the greatest love I thought that could ever exist. And do I love my son less after the age of 8? No. The love became different. My son, we moved. We moved from Wyoming to New Hampshire. And I gotta say that my aunt, Chris, who is my Uncle Mark's wife, my Uncle Mark is my mom's youngest sibling. And Chris was very persnickety. She could do no wrong. Everything she did right. She had so much wisdom, blah, 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 blah. Well, didn't agree with some of my parenting styles. And she would say things to my son, like in my absence. And basically tell my son that I'm wrong, that your mother shouldn't be doing that, or your mother shouldn't blah, blah, blah. And if your mother loved you, she wouldn't spank you. She told my son that. So my son started to listen to her, and because her and Uncle Mark were the new and shiny things, right? And Uncle Mark was kind of like the father my son didn't have. So I worked all the time, and I worked always on the weekends. So my son was with them a lot. And she was really influencing him. And basically trying to turn him against me, which that's a horrible thing to do, to try to turn a child against their mother. Don't ever do that. So anyway, so Micah at the age of 9 started becoming too big for his britches, because he thought, well, if I spanked him, he would tell Aunt Chris, and Aunt Chris would consider taking me to court and taking him away from me. But see, I was a Christian, and I listened to Dr. James Dobson, and he would always teach about love must be tough. And he would talk about spare the rod, spoil the child. And he would talk about never spank your children with your hands, only use your hands in ways of loving and nurturing. Use like a wooden spoon or a belt. And that's what Dr. Dobson was teaching Christians. So I wanted to be a good Christian, and so now I also made a vow to never spank my child in anger. And I made a vow that my son would never get more than 5 swats. So I would count. If it was really bad, he got 4 swats. I don't think we ever got to 5, but he'd get 2 swats, 1, 2, or 3, 1, 2, 3, and that's all he would get. But she told him that spanking children was wrong, and if you spanked your child, you didn't love your child. So it really did a number on my son's psychosis, and it did a number on our relationship that was, up to that point, very healthy and very loving and filled with trust. My son trusted me completely. And I could trust him to tell me the truth, and I could trust him to do what I asked him to do. But then he got too big for his britches, and since Aunt Chris would tell him things, he didn't have to listen to me anymore. So I did still love him, but he made it very hard to like him sometimes, and it wasn't his fault. So anyway, so back to this, let's get back on track. So what I decided to start doing was, when I listened to Bashar talk about this kind of stuff, is wake up in the morning and try to have that kind of love that I had for my son. I mean, when he was little, he was one of the most beautiful children I had ever seen. And I would just try to think about that love and let that love just kind of fire up inside of me, and think I'm gonna love the whole world the way I loved my baby boy. Just unconditional love that's infinite, you know? And it really lifts your vibration, and it really lifts your spirits when you start doing things like this, start practicing in this way. And then go outside in your bare feet and put your feet in the grass and look up at that sun in the morning and reach your arms out to it and say, I am grateful to you, sun. I'm grateful for your sunshine. I'm grateful for your warmth. I'm grateful that you light up the world and that you give me vitamin D. Yeah. And then just keep going. I'm grateful for my car. I'm grateful for my food. And as always, I'm grateful for my son. I love him so much. So, okay, I hope this helps. All right. So, you can see everything with the eyes of love. You can be aware that there is love all around you. When you live this way, there is no longer a fog in your mind. The mitote has gone on a permanent vacation. This is what humans have been seeking for centuries. For thousands of years, we have been searching for happiness. Happiness is the lost paradise. Humans have worked so hard to reach this point. And this is part of the evolution of the mind. This is the future of humanity. This way of life is possible, and it's in your hands. Moses called it the promised land. Buddha called it nirvana. Christ called it heaven. And the Toltecs call it a new dream, as does Bashar. Or he'll sometimes say a dream within a dream. Okay. Unfortunately, your identity is mixed with the dream of the planet. All of your beliefs and agreements are there in the fog. You feel the presence of the parasite and believe it is you. This makes it difficult to let go, to release the parasite and create the space to experience love. You are attached to the judge, attached to the victim. Suffering makes you feel safe because you know it so well. But there is really no reason to suffer. The only reason you suffer is because you choose to suffer. If you look at your life, you will find many excuses to suffer. But a good reason to suffer you will not find. The same is true for happiness. The only reason you are happy is because you choose to be happy. Happiness is a choice, and so is suffering. Maybe we cannot escape from the destiny of the human, but we have a choice to suffer our destiny or to enjoy our destiny. To suffer or to love and be happy. To live in hell or to live in heaven. My choice is to live in heaven. What is your choice? And that's the end of chapter 7. There's prayers in the back of the book. Many pages. Why don't I make that another video? Okay, so I'm gonna say goodbye, and thank you for being here with me. I've enjoyed reading this book. Blessings, blessings, blessings. This is Lisa Lovestone. Good night.